Hi, everybody. We are back with another installment in our incredible Symposium series on David Lynch, one of the most incredible artists and directors of all time, who is no longer with us. And we'll be bringing you 10 feature films symposiums. So we're going to talk about all of his work in depth. So please join us in this part and like and subscribe if you'd like.
Like and subscribe, everyone. You'll totally enjoy it.
The Elephant Man, 1980. Yeah, so Mel Brooks produced this. Everything you guys just said happened. So the movie itself, Dill, what do you, how do you react to the Elephant Man? I mean,
Oh,
when first see it, how do you feel about it? You told us some of the technical stuff, which was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Well, I saw it the next year. I'm still in college, and I went with my roommate, who was a very Midwestern, very intelligent, smart, became a doctor, good guy. Um, Midwestern, stoic, not a guy who was really showed a lot of emotion.
Hmm.
He was a decent guy, but he was the type who would keep things in. And when that movie was over and I wanted to talk about it, he's like, just give me some time. And we just walked back to the campus. And, that was the first time I really saw him so emotionally affected by it. And I know where he was coming from. That the last shot of the movie is just a gut punch. And I guess for those who aren't familiar, we should probably say something about the plot. It's based on the true story
Yeah.
of a man. This is in Victorian England, a guy who was afflicted with hideous deformities. Point
Neurofibromatosis.
Yeah, he was, and an extreme case of it. It's usually
Yeah.
not. It didn't look like he could even live. One of his arms was normal. The other one was just a mass of tumors. His head was grotesquely deformed. They thought that he was mentally disabled and mute and all, but he just sort of kept quiet. He was being exhibited in a freak show under horrible conditions. And a doctor, a very kind doctor, took him in and was treating him and had to sort of fight to keep him there because the hospital's like, "Oh, this guy's just taking money. He's never going to get better. Send him back to the freak show." And they kind of it's sort of a modern story in one way. He became, if the internet had existed, he would have become a meme. He was a sensation. People, rich, wealthy people, kings and queens, they came to see him. And some of it, I'm sure, was curiosity, but it was also a way of, showing their kindness. He was kept comfortable for the remainder of his
Yeah.
life, which wasn't long.
Right.
And so it's an interesting story. It's a true story. They did not, if anything, they maybe made him look a little less grotesque than he was.
It's his,
Oh,
it's pretty
but
damn close. I've
it's
studied.
pretty
Yeah.
close.
It's
But he was just a decent soul, an artistic person. And yeah, Lynch takes this and runs with it. Again, black and white, which is completely appropriate in the time period that it takes
mm,
place in. Um, Great for cinematography by, I believe, Freddie Francis.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, who was an okay film director, but a great cinematographer,
Right.
and just great performances. John Hurt, a young Anthony Hopkins, basically playing the bizarro version of Dr. Lecter. This man
Yeah.
is kind and decent,
Right.
questions himself about his own motivations because he becomes kind of a superstar too for having found this guy and taking care of it. There's some interesting moral questions in there,
Yeah, I
but
feel like Treves is the audience identifying character.
Mhm.
He wrote the book
Mhm.
anyway. Literally wrote that book.
And it was a marvelous movie, and it did well, much better than I'm sure they had any expectation.
Oh yeah.
If this is sort of like if you describe this film to people, it's like, oh yeah, Hollywood blockbuster that's going to really put asses in seats. And yet, much like the actual Elephant Man, people
Right.
saw the beauty in the story of
Yeah.
this, on the outside at least, the most unbeautiful person who ever lived. But it's a good story. It's kind of heartwarming. And it's basically not Eraserhead at all. There's the only thing Eraserhead about it is the occasional flashbacks or little bits, dream sequences that are just sort of put in there. But
Yeah, the
yeah,
elephant killing his mother. I don't think that really happened, but I think it was an omen that Lynch came up
yeah,
with.
yeah, and just so sad, you know.
It's sad. It's still sad to me. I first encountered the Elephant Man when there was the Oscars for the year after, and I guess I was 12 or 13. I can't remember exact. I was in junior high, miserable in junior high, and I really felt myself like a complete freak constantly. And
Yeah.
fortunately, I had lots of other kids who were daily enforcing that by calling me a freak and an idiot and all that kind of stuff. So I was pretty sure. So this is how that thing touches a person like me. Um, they were doing the Oscars on TV. My parents were watching it, and they show a little clip of each movie. So the clip they show is Treves trying to fight off all these people gawking at him. It's become a meme really. And he pulls off his hood and he says, "I am not. I am a human being. I am a man." And the thing is,
I know.
the Oscars, kind of sideways. That was the end of it. They cut sideways the shot of actually seeing him. So
Mhm.
and none of the press materials showed the Elephant Man, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I so I asked my mom, why didn't we see this in the theater? Like every other movie is like, when are we gonna see that one? Nope. But so I started researching. I went to Encyclopedia Britannica, and then I went to the school I was going to and checked out.
Frederick Treves.
Yes, Treves. So Treves' book had the pictures of the real Elephant Man and
Yeah.
photographs they took, and
Which
I
are worse than the makeup job,
Yes,
incidentally.
they
Yeah.
are, and to be honest, I became obsessed with that character. I wrote him into a kind of Philip Jose Farmer short story was writing, and it wasn't a very good story, but it was a cool crossover though. And then finally years later, I rented it with one of my girlfriends, and that was about 1989. So I was like super eager to see it, um, and I watched it with her, and she made it two-thirds of the way through the movie. This isn't a diss on her. She was a very, very mentally ill person, at least at that time in her life, in a way that I'd never encountered with somebody you're intimate with. Um, so in a way, predictably, she couldn't handle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so she left, and I finished it. I cried. I didn't, bawl everything, and just get soaked in tears, but I did cry, and uh, I didn't become as infatuated with him, if you want to put it that way, and obsessed as I had been. Finally, seeing it I've come full circle because I started asking my mom, "Who is this guy?" Then I go research it myself, and then I talk my girlfriend into getting it, and then we watch it, and she can't handle it, and it's like every reaction has been around me to that film, and I didn't really talk to anybody about it except my best friend at the time, and he loved it. He was really into it, and he kind of encouraged me before I had rented it to try to rent it, but I didn't have a VCR or anything. So that was the first time, and then a few years later, I bought the tape and I bought the DVD, and I don't have the Blu-ray yet, but um, to me, it's powerful. To me, I'm in my personal list. Chuck said last time, there's a movie that you think is a masterpiece, uh, as objective as you can be, and one that is your personal favorite movie. And they're usually not the same, or often not the same. So I think not my personal favorite, but of Lynch's work, I would say of Lynch's non-Twin Peaks work. Uh, to me, The Elephant Man is a masterpiece, obviously, but I would say then it is my favorite too. But I never hardly ever watch it. And the scene, I used to try this out on people because I like to do silly impressions. I don't do it as much as I used to, but um, there's the scene where they're having dinner with Treves and his wife for the first time, and she just starts crying, it's not that he says anything. She doesn't like gawk at him. It's just this whole reality of, I'm dining with this guy who just shouldn't even be alive. He's so messed up, you know. And she starts crying, and then she's getting ready to clear the table, and John Hurt goes, he's trying to talk. He's having trouble talking. He's like, "You've all been very kind," and that was a good. I used to do that really really well, just like him. But anyway, sometimes I would say that, and people were like, "What are you talking about?"
Mm.
I said, "Oh, nothing. I'm just complimenting you, you know." But occasionally somebody would get it. But I still say it to people. I still say it to people as a joke sometimes, actually.
That
Henry,
was so emotional, by the way.
What did you say,
yeah,
Elijah?
It was so emotional. That scene is very
yeah,
emotional.
it
You've
is.
all
It
been
Yeah,
is.
very
it
kind.
is.
When he says, he talks about his mother, and he's like, "I'm sure I was a disappointment to her." And you're like, but
Yeah.
Henry, you remind me of Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh
You'll
no.
throw out these references to characters or lines that maybe one person in 100 gets, but that's okay because that
Mhm.
one person thinks that is awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh sure.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm a
I
walking
love Gilbert,
encyclopedia
by the
of,
way.
of ephemera. um. So Chuck, talk to us about the Elephant Man. Your thoughts here.
Okay, I first became aware of the Elephant Man before the movie came out, and a lot of that was because it was already kind of getting around as a play.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Um,
yes, that's true.
in fact, I saw the televised version of the play before I saw the movie.
Which
But
is the one with the dark
Philip
haired.
Anglim,
What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Philip Anglim, I
Yes,
think
I
played
I
him
haven't
on the
only
movie.
seen I've only seen a little bit footage of the David Bowie one,
Yeah, I,
Oh yeah.
and I wasn't
yeah,
fond of it as much as I love Bowie. I really,
yeah,
it just seems stupid to try to do something like that. I get it. I get it. It's an experiment. You're supposed to use your imagination and see the real person. And, but I'm not a huge theater
yeah,
person, first of all. But in this case, it's like, I want to see it.
yeah, yeah. Hence the viability of the movie. But of course, I was aware that the movie, was coming out and it was being made and whatnot, and and I saw it kind of in increments. I think later on I rented it because it's like, okay, this is David Lynch, so I got to do it. And so I watched it. And it kind of hit me, and it's kind of funny. I think it started running on cable after a while,
Mm.
and then various members of my family started seeing it, and just I saw them be very affected by it. And it's only kind of I was kind of fascinated with it, but I had always followed, the story of John Merrick and just
Joseph
seen.
Merrick.
It's Joseph Merrick
Yeah,
in real
David
life.
Lynch, for some reason, changed his first name. I have no idea why. I probably read it,
Yeah,
but nobody,
yeah,
nobody's perfect, even David Lynch.
yeah.
Sorry, David Lynch.
But for whatever reason, I don't know. It took me a while for the movie to really take with me. I feel like I watched it a couple of times just recently, kind of in prep for this podcast, and it's just kind of like I don't know where it was where it just finally hit me at the right age, but same kind of story as you, because I was a misfit kid, and just like I said, lunch hour I would spend like ensconced away in the library because I couldn't stand being around, all
Yeah.
those kids who were nasty to me and everything, and so I just kind of sit there and bookworm out, and I relate very much to the story of that poor individual who went through all those hardships and all those deformities and whatnot, and it just kind of gradually hit me, and just the certain just callous kind of just outright evil of some of the supporting characters. Freddie Jones, who's great in just about everything I've seen him in
So evil in that.
as the sideshow owner, and just horrible character, and
Hmm.
just the exploitation and everything just kind of really hit hard, and just and his emotions. John Hurt is such a fantastic actor,
He's
to
incredible.
be able to. It's like to come through under all the makeup with such a powerful emotional performance. You know, so this movie's kind of gradually kicked my ass over a source of many years.
You're
Long
getting
story
regular
short.
beatings. What'd you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, semi-regular beatings whenever I watch the movie.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
couldn't watch it all the way through for this. I mean, I wanted to. But luckily, I've seen it quite a few times. But I did watch Dune, which took a while. Um, but The Elephant Man, yeah, there's a couple of things I want to throw out there. But go ahead and ask Briggy her experiences with said film.
There
Hi.
you go.
So yeah. Wow. So I really was feeling like I was gonna have to just check out all together. Just, hearing you guys talk about this movie, it's like, oh, it's really heavy for me. So, 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 so heavy. It's like I said last week. Was it last week?
Hmm.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
that was just it really hit me hard. It was very emotional. I can't stand that level of cruelty. Just even though I know it was a movie, but I also realized it was a real person who existed. And so I started to watch a little bit of it just to refresh, but I don't think I needed to watch it again because it was just turning my stomach. Like even now, it's like so dehumanizing and painful. And there were some good people that were trying to help him, but those scars are real. And it's just the way, the full scope of humanity was on display in that movie to me.
Mhm.
And he was used as a vehicle um, to show the world the level of humanity and level of love being also so painful in its beauty as well, which also was very, very hard for me to watch and was really beautiful as well. And then it kind of just reminded me of like they had like at some point, I think around the same time, they also had like black people in zoos and on display and things of that nature. And that really just kind of like, because I was
The
rewatching the movie and
you know who
mhm,
I don't know if you this is who you're thinking of, but I didn't know this until
right,
recently. The Hottentots,
right. Yes,
Hottentot
yes,
Venus, and they made a movie
yes.
called
Mhm.
Venus about her.
Mhm.
Right,
So that
yeah.
was
I mean,
one.
like little children. So
Yeah.
it was just like a whole weird, to me, I just sort of lumped all that in because there is still humanity, even though it may not show up in the way we want. Like we have five fingers and five toes, and but then these things do happen in nature. But there is also a human spirit within that. And sometimes I would feel as though we were the monsters. We were the
Yeah.
grotesque,
Mhm.
you know, because I say we, not we literally, but you understand what I mean.
Sure.
We're treating him with a level of inhumanity that they believed they were
Mhm.
just projecting onto him. So
Yeah.
that really got me. So now, as far as the movie is concerned, I would just say Lynch, because of the previous movie, which also kind of reminded me a little of Naked Lunch, which your Eraserhead has that sort of Naked Lunch kind of elements in there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
I can
cool.
see
um,
that.
yeah, I wanted to say that I didn't think we were going to move on to this movie, but that's certainly something that really did grab me as well about Eraserhead. David Lynch then taking his very vivid and also very humane imagination and then transferring it on to this character who was born, with such deformities that the acting and it was like I'm not watching a movie, I'm watching someone's life, I'm watching somebody's humanity on display. And Lynch was really good at creating the space and the silence and the beats in between, which didn't have any words, but you could feel the tension
Hmm.
in the movie, in the way he would walk, the way he had a gait to him, all of those things that were so beautiful but painful at the same time. So I was just very moved
Mhm.
by this movie. I was like, I love this movie, but I hope to never see it again. That's how much I love it because
Yeah.
because it was very, very
Yeah.
hard to watch. So yeah, that's me right now.
That's pretty awesome. Um, So basically, it's something that you kind of put on a shelf, but you still honor it.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it has to be. I mean, I feel people need to see that to get into their own humanity and the depth. And if you're not feeling something, then you need to go seek therapy because that's
Yeah.
something that, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of
Yeah.
those types of movies. You don't
Hmm.
have to watch it as as a form of social penance for past deeds, but wrongdoings. But I just feel as though if you really want to see a master at work, a master at his craft, Lynch has really captured this, and I love Lynch because he's an artist that. I mean, dare I put myself in the same? I don't, but I'm an artist and my work is always different. You'll never know, did I make this or did you make that? This is different from the last thing you made. And Lynch has that same, like, it's very what I feel is what I create. I'm not going to be wedded to one style. I'm not going to be pigeonholed into one genre. I'm going to make what I feel coming from me and I'm going to present that to the world. And that is what I find really intriguing about him because he takes you on a ride through all of his movies. And it's really great to see.
I mean, you're saying a lot, and I agree with all of it. I'm kind of
Yeah.
processing everybody. Uh, but anyway, yeah, there's some deep thought there. I just wanted to say, and not trying to be it all about me or anything, um, is when Chuck was talking about being a kid and the condition he was in with people, um, see, this is what's so different about current culture with young people. And it's not a knock or a compliment, but there's all the labels. They're obsessed with labels. My generation was like, don't put any labels on anything, man. Now everybody's like, okay, this is blah blah blah. So one label you use was body dysmorphia. So if you're a psychiatrist or a uh, someone who's like a fanatic or stan, as they say now, of a psychiatrist, then you'll be like, yeah, cool, that's a cool term. But medically, it means nothing really. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that this
Mm.
person has is uncomfortable in their own skin. And deep in the well of my thoughts, for quite a few years as a child, I was. It was bad. It was bad. But just the intensity of that feeling and in addition to anguish, I mean, not anguish, well, that was there too. Anxiousness, uh, school wasn't for a person like me. But I thought I was being thrown into like a pit of crocodiles.
Yeah.
And they're fucking merciless. I'm not like uh, traumatized by it, but I think it's strengthened me being through that. And sometimes I dream about that. And, uh, and that's kind of what I was getting at is the whole thing about why I identified with the physical aspect of Merrick I felt that body dysmorphia, as they call it now. Um, but anyway, so Elijah, have you talked about the Elephant Man yet?
Not yet. No, I haven't. Not yet.
Would you like to? Unless Bree, you would
Oh,
like
yes, I'd love
to.
to.
Okay,
Okay, sure.
go for
Mhm.
it,
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely. So, I saw this movie, I want to say a year and a half after I had already seen Mulholland Drive, um, Eraserhead, Blue Velvet, and Lost Highway. So this was my fourth Lynch film, and then I'm pretty sure after Elephant Man, I saw Wild at Heart. But with this film, I kind of had the impression that it was going to be like a biography film, and that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was on all fronts. Um, and the entire time while I was watching it, um, I was drained. I was being it felt like I was being mentally challenged.
Right.
Like it's such a thought provoking and mesmerizing film on all accounts, yet it's so jarring and hard to watch at times. I do think that it is near, if not a living masterpiece, as well as many of his other films are. Um, and John Hurt, the late John Hurt, gives out a unforgettable performance, and the makeup is incredible. And Anthony, when I found out that Anthony Hopkins was in this film, I knew that I had to see it immediately because I really love this guy. One of my all time favorite actors, probably in my top 15s. But the film just kept moving, and the one thing that I really loved, but also hated about it, is that the the brutality of humanity that was being put on display, which is very accurate to the real world, to our world.
Yeah.
It made me feel disgusting. It made me feel very sad. And especially the ending where he's being caught, where he's caught in crowds, and the iconic "I'm not an elephant, I am a human being, I'm not an animal" quote that almost sent me in tears.
Yeah.
Practically did. It almost sent me sobbing, actually.
That was the clip they used for the Oscar nomination.
Yeah. Yeah. And ever since then, I've seen that quote thrown a lot of places anytime someone mentions the Elephant Man. For good reason. I think it's a very powerful quote. I really do think it is. And it comes from a very powerful film. The black and white color grading, I think, is probably even more impressive than Eraserhead, as impressive as Eraserhead was, because this definitely sets in a time period that goes further back. I thought it was jaw dropping, like absolutely incredible. Cinematography, the sound, it's all there. It's all there. And this was really like, I want to say this was one of the few David Lynch films that didn't feel like a movie. It didn't feel like a film. It felt like a live biography being displayed right in front of your very eyes.
Yeah, I'm sure if you watch that Criterion, it probably looks like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love the film. And I'm kind of the same way. I try to limit myself when it comes to this Lynch film in particular, because it has a lot to say. And I do think this is a film that everyone needs to see at least once, whether you're a cinephile or not. I feel like everyone needs to see The Elephant Man at least once, because it does have a lot to say about the poor disabled and the inhumane and brutality of humanity that's being displayed on the poor people.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's really I mean, it's accelerated, but it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed from the Victorian era, or it hasn't changed since that movie depicting the Victorian era has either. What, 45 years? It's accelerated. I feel like I feel like it's a movie that you need to kind of make every victim see and every bully see, because
Yeah.
the victims can relate. The bullies, they need a fucking wake up call, man. They really do.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, there are other
If they can even process a wake up call.
I mean, it's not as big a wake up call to bullies as, say, the Ninth Configuration. That one's kind of one of the ultimate ones. Have you all seen that?
Ooh. Oh yeah.
That's a wake up call for bullies. At the end,
the only sequel to The Exorcist I will accept.
yeah, it's beautiful. We need to talk about that sometime. So, thank you, Elijah, and we're gonna veer around. I just want to say a few things, not many, and if you guys don't have anything else, we'll go on to the next movie.
Got one other brief thing.
Okay,
And
sure.
I just want to say, and this is something I will repeat. I will repeat later this session because it applies to yet another movie. But there is, I don't know, a level you sometimes don't associate this level of heavy emotion with Lynch. And of course, you have to factor in the fact that this is a studio picture they did, with somebody else's money. But at the same time, all the heavy emotion, my wife is very intent on the phrase emotional pornography in references to a lot of popular movies. And but I don't think that applies in this one. And the thing with Lynch, when he gets overly emotional and when he hits you hard with those emotions, it's earned.
Yeah.
It's like earned emotion as opposed to like manipulative emotion.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, that's it for now.
Cool. Yeah. CF's wife is a very, very creative character. I wanted y'all to meet her sometime. Maybe she'll pop in. Um, so yeah, the only thing I want to say about the Elephant Man, well, actually, this is more about the style of Eraserhead and the Elephant Man, the black and white style, even though they're kind of different in some ways. But they pretty much cover the bases as far as that kind of photography and especially disturbing um, subject matter. So I listed five directors that I think would not exist. I mean, we had to have no career if they hadn't watched Eraserhead and the Elephant Man. I'm a little joking, but I'm a little dead serious. So the first one would be Elias Merhige, who did Begotten.
Ooh, yeah.
There would be no Begotten if there weren't Lynch.
Sure. Oh, sure.
Okay, Bellatar, he's the big one, and
Ooh.
I don't know who was there. Maybe none of you. Maybe Bill though. I reviewed Satan Tango as one of my favorite movies of 2023 that I saw for the first time. And man, a few people who none of whom are with the show anymore, they went pretty hard on me. They went pretty hard. They never seen any
Wow.
Bellatar, but they really went hard about the length of the movie and just the way it just kind of the plot didn't seem to make and I thought, wow, but they're both Lynch fans, but this was just too much for them. I mean, it's almost too much for me, but I still liked it. I'm not gonna like pick on the movie just because the guy, shoots a 5 or 6 hour movie. That's his, but more power to him. But okay, the next one would be Guy Madden, and Guy Madden gets a lot of
Mhm.
props as a brilliant filmmaker. I personally, what I've seen of Guy Madden, which isn't a lot, I feel he's a little overrated, and I feel he does count. He does crib from Lynch, maybe a little too much at times. This is just an opinion, though. I haven't seen some of his key works, but like I've seen the Dracula film.
Hmm.
I thought I was gonna love it, and it just left me cold. I don't know. I was like, why? Why is this leaving me cold? Saddest music in the world, Isabella Rossellini. I love this film, and it left me cold. And that could
Oh,
be
come on. Henry, you got to give full props to Sissy Boy Slap Party, though.
what? Is that a movie of his?
Absolutely. I could I have made that up on the spot? No, I could
Yes.
not. It's I don't know. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Sissy Boy Slap Party is exactly what it promises.
Hmm. Shrewd advertising, no false advertising. Um, there
Okay.
was one.
Worth it just for the title.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, okay. Actually, I have a six on my list, so I'll move on to the one that just occurred to
The
me.
director's cut is only 6 minutes long, so it's not like you got to
Oh
devote a
my
whole
God,
lifetime
really?
to it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That's
We got
insane.
a winner.
You got a winner. Uh, the next person who just occurred to me now would be the Quay brothers. Um,
Mm,
Institution Benjamenta is
sure, sure.
like a discarded Lynch idea that they found crumpled up and said, "I will come and make a movie out of this." Um, then I would say Shinya Tsukamoto, and he said this much, publicly many times that David Lynch is his favorite. That
Oh yeah.
Tetsuo is influenced by the cinematography of Eraserhead
Oh yeah.
and Elephant
Oh
Man.
yeah. Yeah, good call.
Okay, then the last one I'd say Buddy Giovanna, who created Combat Shock. The bare bones plot
Oh.
of that movie is exactly like
Oh.
Eraserhead. It's not a remake, but
Mm.
they added the Vietnam vet thing because that was cool thing to do back then. I always liked that, but everybody was a Vietnam vet in these movies, so they added the Vietnam vet thing, and they kind of anticipated Deadbeat at Dawn by a few years as far as the kind of person he was and the way he just kind of staggered around the world, and his wife was unhappy and they had a kid that was a mutant. and it was the reactions and not the way it's shot or anything like that, but the emotional, the emotional reactions that you would think Henry Spencer would have in Eraserhead. He does show them, but if it were me, it'd be a lot more intense than Henry Spencer acted. I'd probably have a nervous breakdown. It's happened to me. So this guy character in Buddy's movie, he's a walking nervous breakdown. So he has the kid who's the mutant. So anyway, those were six film, well, Quay brothers, seven filmmakers.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm like, I think for all of us to be here talking about these movies, this particular one movie could just be its own show. I think its own little show because it's very powerful, and we all have to be misfits in one way or another, or misunderstood, or not quite with the in crowd. Like I wasn't a popular person in school. I was a loner, very much so a loner. I know, well, you would never know to look at me, but yes.
Oh, I was an
I
absolute
was,
loner.
yeah, I mean, I was a loner because I grew up in a very tumultuous household. So that lends itself to being very reclusive and very introspective and, that sort of thing. And that's just what it is. So this is why we've all been summoned here by David Lynch to talk about these amazing movies he's created.
Well, his obsession with psychiatry and transcendental meditation, I'm sure he'd be proud of us going this deep.
Hmm. Oh, certainly, certainly. Yeah, yeah, that I'm sure it had informed much of his work and allowing himself to just be in the moment, which is what that meditation is about.
Yeah, when we get
And
to his end work, there's a shift. There's a shift in him
Mhm,
that comes gradually. I
mhm,
think I would say it starts with Firewalk with Me. I'm not saying it's enveloped by it, but it breaks something open, and from there on, with the exception of the straight story, he is getting progressively darker, more obsessed with his usual obsessions like doppelgangers, and more deep, into
mhm,
just surreal imagery, things from the mind. Inland Empire is pure cinema. I mean, it's pure cinema. I don't even know how to. I didn't coin that term, but
Agreed.
but I know what it means to most critics, and I think Inland Empire is one. Um, it could be his masterpiece. I'm not saying it is, but it's not super well made like The Elephant Man, with a particular message. But it's a 3 hour nightmare. It's a 3 hour nightmare, and it's an endurance test for people. So a lot of people I know who love Lynch have never seen it and don't want to see it, or,
That's exact.
or putting it off.
Lost Highway felt like a 3 hour nightmare for me, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, Lost Highway. The first time I kind of liked it a lot, and then I kind of just disliked it a lot. I was screaming at the screen because I was too invested in Bill Pullman because he was a sax player. And I was like, this kid's boring. I felt sorry for the kid too, but and it doesn't matter which one he was, he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose the game. So we're gonna move on to Dune. We're kind of working in
Hey,
chronological order, and
Okay.
I will reserve my comments for the end, but I'll just, give the audience a quick thing. Dune is a 1984 science fiction movie. It kind of comes at the tail end of the Star Wars craze, which, happened with the first two Star Wars movies to a lesser
hey,
extent.
I jotted down the plot here in a easily swallowable form. If you want me to
Yeah,
synop,
yes, I will pass that to you in just one sec.
sure.
So it came at the end of that era, so it still has, above average special effects and kind of an epic tone to it. It's up to the individual viewer to decide if it succeeds. And I have never read the book, so I'm at a liability. And I don't think Lynch ever read the book either. And Lynch himself has gone on record many times in the 2010s, recently. The word hate has come up quite a lot. He's
Mm.
disowned this film. So take of that what you will. It is his only real. He's done a few studio films, but technically, as far as financing, but this one is really his own real studio film. So, and Bill's going to tell us what it's about.
Yeah, he was not happy with that experience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I unreservedly love this film.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the plot. If you haven't read the books, now I went in to see this movie having never read the books.
Okay.
And I was told if you don't read the books, you can't understand the movie. I just want to say that's a lie.
It is
Yes,
a lie.
I am probably
It's
above
a
average
lie, yeah.
intelligence, but that's only because average is pretty low.
Especially since the
I was,
newer films are out.
The plot
yeah,
makes
yeah,
total sense to me.
I was able to follow it. Yes, there's a lot of names. I'll talk about
Right.
that. So here's the premise. About a gazillion years in the future, and it's the world building when you finally do read the books, and you should, at least the first couple.
Yeah.
The world building
have-
is
It's
awesome.
insane.
Absolutely awesome. But it has, let me just say, it has damaged a lot of would-be writers because so many of them want to do what Frank Herbert did, what Tolkien did, and create these worlds. And the reality is, it's a skill that very few people have. I've seen so many folks who want to write books, and when you say, "What's it about?" they tell you about the world. And I could not give a rat's ass. I want to know what's the story
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
There's so many fantasy writers who will go on for hours until you want to gnaw off your leg and escape
Yeah.
about their magic system.
I just don't
Oh
wanna
my
be
God,
that
I
person
figured I have a
anymore.
magic system, and they go about this magic system. It's like you realize it's not real. It doesn't work. Nobody cares. Just tell me abracadabra, zippity zoo, whatever. Tell me the damn story. Tell me about the characters. Anyway, a gazillion years in the future where there are no computers because there was a big computer war, and yeah, so they got rid of that. The Harkonnens, real bastards, these people, led by Baron Harkonnen, who is this very obese guy who floats around and seems to be suffering from herpes simplex 12. It's awful. They
Yeah.
control the mining of spice on the planet Arrakis, which is a desert world. It's also got sandworms the size of like a couple of blue whales put together, and also an indigenous group of people, the Fremen, who are tough as frickin' nails because they're living on a desert planet full of sandworms. It's, you got to be tough. So the Harkonnens, they control the mining, but they're having a bad time because they're really bad to the Fremen. And the Emperor kicks them off and plots to have the popular Duke Leto take over the mining of spice. But this is all subterfuge because really he is scared that Duke Leto is going to take his place. So he plans to have him take over and then support the Harkonnens when they come back and just blow everything up and take over again. So the Harkonnens and the Emperor's people come back, kill everyone except for Paul Atreides, son of the Duke, and his mom, who is the Duke's mistress. Oh, she's also a member of a religious wacko cult who has been for years trying to genetically create through selective breeding a Superman, the chosen one. There's a lot of this going on. So they join the Fremen, who also, and these people are a bunch of water worshiping weirdos, but really good warriors. And they also have their own chosen one. And Paul seems like he may fit the bill. Now, here's where this diverges from both the book and the more recent movies, where Paul, in a pretty good move, although it's fraught with peril, basically encourages this belief that he is the chosen one, although frankly, he ain't the chosen one. He's just a guy who, if you know what they're looking for in chosen ones, you can sort of play the role. Of course, there's always the possibility that that's what the chosen one would actually do. So it's kind of ambiguous, but not in this movie. He's clearly the chosen one. He drinks some magical water that comes when you put a baby sandworm into a pool of water, and he has psychic visions. And when he comes out, he is Jesus. He's a DUNE Jesus, and he leads a great battle against the Emperor's forces and the Harkonnens. Oh, by the way, his mom gave birth to his sister after drinking some of this magic water stuff, and this kid is really effed up. Yeah, she is a super mutant. She's born with all the powers of this religious order without having had to go to school or take the ACTs or anything. So there's a big fight, and they just wipe out the Emperor and the Harkonnens. It's not even like close because they're riding on the backs of giant sandworms, and the Emperor is basically playing a video game. It's not even close. And then this big fight with Sting. Yeah, he's in the movie, and
I
by the
will
time
kill him.
Go
yeah, I will
figure.
kill. And turns out Paul's the chosen one after all. He can kill you just by yelling at you. And he blesses the rain down in Arrakis. And there you go. Yeah. It's, oh, yeah, because Toto did the music. Not the first band I would have thought of to do the music, like Foreigner wasn't available or something.
Yeah.
And my God, they do a great job. I love for this, it's
nothing will top
it up.
In my opinion, nothing will top Queen doing Flash.
And I'm watching this and I'm having a great time, but I'm seeing there are people around me who are confused. And in fairness, I'm not going to say they're dumb or anything. You know how, like, in a movie, usually you just have to remember one or two names?
Right.
Okay, so Paul, our lead, the protagonist, he's Paul Atreides. He's also Muad'Dib. He sometimes goes by Usul if you're, his girlfriend.
Muad'Dib. It's Muad'Dib.
And he's the Quicksack Hatterack. Give a dog a bone. I mean, he's all these insano names, none of them normal except for Paul, which thank God is the one they usually use.
Well, they're titles. Yes. To me, they're titles.
And every now and then they rub your face in it and it'd be like, I, Paul Atreides, the Quicksack Hatterack, will not rest until no Harkonnen breathes Arakeen air. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm confused. I need a scorecard or something. There's too much. You're throwing too much at me here. There's something that I absolutely hate in movies, which is hearing characters' thoughts.
Yeah, that was an odd choice, I thought.
It is. Yeah. But you know what? The thing of it is,
it made it a little comic booky.
This movie, Jesus. So first of all, this movie was originally going to be done by Alejandro Jodorowsky, who apparently read the book and said, this is not complicated enough. I'm going to take massive amounts of peyote and LSD and write a script for a 10-hour movie. I'm going to have Salvador Dali come in for $2 million and play the emperor and just make up the lines. None of it would have made any sense at all. They spent a whole lot of money. And of course, nothing happened because it was just a ridiculous idea. However, the team that was brought together for this never to be made movie later went on to do a lot of really cool things. The Alien is 100% thanks to
Jodorowsky
having been attempted. Yeah. There's a great documentary on the making of this unmade movie. Ridley Scott was brought in. And his idea was to make a 2-film project, which is indeed the way it should have been done. Mm-hmm. But he dropped out. It was dragging on for long. He realized this would take 2 or 3 years of his life. He had some family tragedies. He dropped out. Lynch was brought in. He was either going to do this or The Empire Strikes Back.
Return to the
and Jedi. I guess one could say he probably chose poorly, but I love The Empire Strikes Back.
Well, it was really Return to the Jedi, Bill.
Oh, you're right. Return of the Jedi. You're right. Okay, that would have been improved by some David Lynch.
Yeah.
I don't think the Ewoks would have been nearly so cute. But of course, again, just like this movie, it would not have been his vision. It would have been George Lucas's vision. So, maybe it's just as well it ended up the way it did. This movie
intellectual property is what it is.
Yeah, his director's cut was 3 hours. It's never been seen. It's not available anymore. They cut that down and put in some narration and some more stuff. The characters were completely eliminated, as to be expected. This is already a pretty dense project. It is profoundly weird in a way only David Lynch could be. Everyone reading the book had their idea of what the guild navigators look like. If you keep taking spice for a long time, it kind of messes you up. At first you just start out looking like a, Susie and the Banshees groupie or something. But by the time it's over, you are, if a tadpole has sex with an avocado, and I don't know. It's hard to describe.
It's a lot of gross fluids.
Well, yeah. I do want to point out real quick that who's seen the remake, the first remake, Volume 1? Anybody?
Oh, Dune?
Dune.
The TV show?
Yeah.
No. The more recent.
Timothée Chalamet.
Yes.
I've seen both of them. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of that look of the ships in the desert they took from Mobius.
Yes,
a lot of Mobius in that
was.
So they kind of did go back
to the Dragonfly ships.
Where they went before the Lynch one. Lynch threw most of that out. I don't know.
This is all. What's wonderful about this? Nothing like this could ever be made again. It's all practical effects because that's all you had back then. It was practical effects or nothing. The set design is beautiful. The gowns are beautiful. It doesn't look like science fiction. It's such a weird mixture of fantasy and science fiction.
Yeah,
And
it's like Star Wars. It's not
you know,
smart.
you're so used to seeing the future where everybody looks exactly the same. And, you know, in reality, the present, which is the future of 50 years ago, is exactly the opposite. You could pick up a yearbook from 1960 and notice that everyone looks like they were stamped out of a mold.
Yeah.
Everyone looks
Mhm.
and dresses exactly the same. And then go to
It-
one of my high schools and walk around and see how individuality was the actual future, not this everyone
Correct.
looks the same thing. But okay,
right.
that's not true
Especially
in this one.
since the film takes place in the year like 10,191.
Yeah. Yes. It's, you
Yeah.
know, which is far enough in the future, like, yeah, I guess that could happen.
Yeah.
Maybe nice gowns and capes will come back in style. It's got a great cast.
Mm.
I am
Um,
all about capes coming back into
you know,
style.
absolutely. They never should have
It'll
gone
happen.
out. Never should have gone out.
I want a
So there's
cape.
this movie has way too much going on. There's
Yeah.
way too many characters. So many of them are kind of given, they don't get the attention they deserve. People who read the book were probably screaming, you know, where's Duncan, Idaho? It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Shut up. I'm trying to enjoy this movie. I love it.
There's
I
some
love it.
interesting
But
parallels between the two dunes. I mean, not, and I know there was another one, but we won't talk about that one.
yeah.
But to me, what I heard from fan bros, and even as Elijah said, there's what you said, there's movie fans and there's cinephiles.
Yeah.
Uh, on the internet when Dune came out, it was kind of a big deal because not because Lynch's movie did great or it's a great film. Uh, it's just one of those. To me, it's one of those names that has been burnt into the consciousness of all science fiction people. Whether you've read the book or not, seen the movie, you're like Dune. Dune is supposed to be this just like ultimate wild, crazy, you know. And they did the documentary, Jodorowsky's, and that helped. But what I read from those people was this went back to the movie. Lynch fucked up. Lynch sucks, and they're nothing alike. You can watch them side by side. They're nothing alike. Okay, so I watched both of them in 1 week. The plot is exactly the same. The
Yes.
Mhm.
characters are exactly the same. The only
Except
difference is some of the
There are a
characters they
few
didn't.
subtle
Mhm.
differences, but
Yeah, there
you
are
know,
differences, but they're not. They're like Dr. Keynes. Okay, he was cool as
yeah,
Max von Sydow, but I think Dr. Keynes as that African woman was awesome too.
yeah.
Not just because she was
yeah,
African, but she was awesome. And
Mhm.
you know, and that was something that's a concession to modern audiences that made sense.
Hmm.
You know, instead of being like, yeah, I guess we should make Blade white in the next movie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's like it it bothered me though that they had two movies for this one. Lynch only was able to squeeze in one movie, but he was able to put the sister character in there, and she was like she just almost stole the screen. She was so
Uh,
cool.
did you
And
feel like
she
a
hasn't been
young
born
Alicia
yet by the
you
Witt.
end of
love
the
her? She is a great
I love her.
yeah, her birth is
uh,
great, and this is something that confused me, but I caught on. I think I caught on pretty quick. Um, when they get to the point where they have the big battle, so then the last half hour,
Mhm.
basically they crammed like all the rest of the book into it. I think. Am I right about that? Because it's like
Yeah.
crammed in. Things start happening fast, and time. I didn't know when things took place. There's no indication. So that's where I mean,
No.
as a cinephile, has to watch it and read between the lines. I'm used to that with Lynch. Though this was different. This was more like epic, like you read a giant epic book. You know,
Mhm.
Right.
nobody reads stuff like that anymore. And I was a little lost, but it was entertaining. Only part of the journey when they sped it up. I don't think it was a good idea cinematically or storytelling wise to do that, but I guess I get why he had to do it. But I thought the thinking thing was sometimes it was okay. I like the thinking thing when they were telepathic with each other, but when they're talking in word bubbles, it
Yeah,
was just like a comic book. Like
they're telling, not showing.
they're
And
telling, not showing.
Mhm.
Yes,
I think a lot of that was put in by the producers because Lynch complained about that was one of the things that made him kind of not really like this movie.
is it
That
to
so
clarify
and
stuff for the audience?
sometimes it is. I think sometimes it's useful because there is so much going on,
Mm,
and but other times it's really the one that really stood out for me. Patrick Stewart has a small role in this,
yeah.
and there's a scene where they're showing the mining of spice, and the mine is destroyed by a giant sandworm. And Duke Leto is more concerned about getting all the men off of it than he is about the loss of the value of the spice. And we have, if I remember it right, Patrick Stewart's thinking he cares. And we just hear his voice here as he's
No,
looking.
that's Kynes. That's Max von Sydow thinking
Oh,
that.
oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
He's thinking, oh, he cares more about the men than the spice. I like this Duke. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't need that. I mean, I can read between the lines. You know, he's a good enough actor that just the way he's looking at him, he's seeing, well, this guy's way better than the Harkonnens, although that's a, you know,
Yeah.
low bar.
He's played
And
very
yes,
similarly in both movies because in both movies the way he talks to whatever you want to call it, what do you call the race that is consisted of Leto and all those people? Like I know the other they have a
They're
name.
they're from
Harkonnens?
Caladan.
What are
Yeah.
Caladan? Okay.
Caladanians, I don't
Like
know.
the planet. Okay.
yeah,
Or if
Calzones.
you could say, oh, they're the humans. You know, I don't know. But
The
They do,
Atreides.
yeah.
Star Trek. But
House
Mhm.
Atreides.
House
okay, House of
Atreides.
yeah. I'm just trying to
That's
figure
it.
out what their people are called.
So
Well,
it does this is sort of like an early idea of, you know, kind of the joy I got from watching Game of Thrones, that you're kind of tossed into the middle of this big world with a lot of history that we don't necessarily have to know about, but little bits and whispers here and there. Really, Dune would be best as a miniseries. It would be best as an HBO 10 episode
yeah,
miniseries kind of thing,
well,
but that's
I mean,
probably not going to
you're right.
happen.
Yeah.
Oh, Denis Villeneuve is actually I think he's working on the script for Dune Messiah as we speak.
Oh, there's going
Yes,
to be a third
and
one.
I'm looking forward to that. But and here's the
Yeah.
problem: if it does well, we probably will get a Dune miniseries. In fact, I think they've made one about the Bene Gesserit, the
Yeah, they
witches.
were talking about it. I didn't know if
And
they
Yeah.
I love the first book. I like the second one, and that's about where it ended. It's like
Yeah.
they kept running and milking this dry.
I
Having
felt that
created
about
such a
Anne
big
Rice.
world. Yeah, you know, sometimes you build a world, you tell a great story, but that great story you tell is the one you wanted to tell. It's what you built the world for. And now you're stuck with it. And some people would argue that's what happened with Twin Peaks, that once we got rid of the whole murder of Laura Palmer thing, they were kind of like, okay, what now?
Yeah, it got
Because they
better.
hadn't.
That's the thing. They're not.
Well, yeah, but
It
for a
got
lot of
better,
people,
even
the
better.
problem for a lot of people, that's, you know, that
I know my
gives
mom
you
was like that.
that gives people that chance to jump off the wagon. You know,
Right.
it's like Marvel's never recovered from Avengers Endgame because it was such a great ending. They built up to it. Here it happened, and now people are like, "Well, that was fun. What now?" And Marvel's just like, "Oh no, we're going to tell some more stories." Like, yeah, no, we're done.
I think they get caught in the commerce versus art thing and land on the commerce side where it's like, yeah, we have a few ideas. They're not that great, but we've got all this pressure to keep the
Oh,
story
well, you need a
going.
movie. We have
Yeah.
a movie that needs to come out in March of 2027. So
What you need to
we'll
have
think
is
of something
writers.
by then.
Yeah, but
You know what's so?
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You know what's so funny? I think it's kind of funny how you mentioned that the newer Dune should be a miniseries. I just remembered that. So you know how Denis Villeneuve made the is working on the new Dune trilogy because it's going to be a trilogy soon. He also made Blade Runner 2049, and from what I heard, there's going to be a continuation miniseries to that takes place 50 years after 2049.
Controversial
good grief.
opinion. I did not like Blade Runner 2049. I didn't hate it.
Oh, really?
I just think
Yeah,
it's a useless movie. It's pretty to look at.
I didn't even
I
want
haven't
to
Nothing
see
to
it.
it. Harrison
love
Ford
it.
is phoning it
I
in
should.
so hard that his telephone is exploding.
Well, now I'm intrigued to see it because I got to, you know, decide who do I agree with, Elijah or
Yeah,
Henry.
you got opposite poles here.
You
Now, I
know?
think people who've
And I'm
never
hoping
seen,
I agree with Elijah because I'd rather love a movie than not
I
love
think
it.
it's spectacular. I
what's the
don't think
story
Denis
though?
Villeneuve
The story
has
is they're looking
disappointed
for
me
the
yet.
child of a human and an android, which they made clear in the first movie is impossible. And then they try to find it, and Jay thinks he is, and then they find the real one.
I don't want to hear
And what I'm saying is you know, the ending
Spoiler
is
alert.
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It makes everything before it not make sense if you take it in that way. And to me, that's how it should be because to me, Blade Runner created a specific world. Maybe that's because I also read the novel and I know the whole background of all that stuff. But making a sequel is not a good idea. It wasn't a bad idea. It's just Villeneuve is above average. But yeah,
I do
it's
love
going to
this
be a
movie
series
for
though.
all its flaws. For all its flaws, I do love Dune.
That's cool.
But I saw it having not read the book, so I'm interested. Did any of you read the books before you see the movie?
Yes.
Before you saw it,
Oh, okay.
I
What'd you
was
think?
interested to see the difference on how you felt about it.
Okay, well, to provide kind of an alternate thing for that, I mean, I read the book before the movie ever came out, found out the movie was coming out, found out David Lynch was directing it, and I was pumped. I was just so psyched to see it. Went to see it, and to be honest with you, I loved the movie. It was just, was it perfect? No. Is any movie perfect? But I was just like, okay, they left this out, they left this out, they left this out. And, all things considered, it's like, the weirding modules. I have no idea where the hell that came from,
Yeah,
Which
but
one?
fine,
What'd you say?
fine that it's
What'd
there.
you call it?
The weirding modules.
What are
the
the modules?
sound weapons, the
Yeah.
little weapons they held on their hands. You'd say a word,
Yeah.
and
They
then it
actually
would.
create, little vocal processors to give everybody the Benny Gesserit powers. They have it in the movie, they have it in the book.
Huh.
It's in everything. And but they don't have the weirding modules. They
So
didn't
tell me about
create
the
Right.
the
modules. What do they do? Because I don't remember that.
They turn
well,
sound into like a laser beam or
Oh yeah,
whatever
yeah,
or
okay,
something.
that's cool.
the whole part where Paul is like training all the Fremen how to use
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that's a cool
Yeah.
weapon.
The
I thought it was like a
can I,
sonic weapon.
It's like
can I
my
Yeah,
name
can
is
I yeah,
Achilles.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that was a weird choice, but there were two things about it that I really loved. The scene that you were just talking about, where his name becomes a killing word.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. One more little bit of evidence that he is indeed a Quicksack Hatterack. And then at the end of the movie, where he just like yells at Sting's corpse and he breaks him. And it's like, oh dang, he doesn't need any
That made
weapons.
me feel good.
Yeah,
This
the
guy's
floor
like
I
this
don't like
literally
guy's
Sting.
breaks underneath him.
and so the crazy thing is that it ends with he's a Superman, and that's awesome. But really, that wasn't the point of the books at all.
Yeah.
Through
No.
Messiah, you realize what would happen if we really did have a chosen one show up. I mean, Jesus had the sense of the sense to leave pretty quickly after showing everything what he was. But Paul hangs around for frickin' ever.
Past his expiration date.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got no
Savior.
expiration date, and it all turns to 100% pure hell. These books are actually like a warning of what would
Yeah.
happen if you really had Superman. Anyway,
So
I'm
the
sorry, I
entire
interrupted.
First,
universe is plunged into a holocaust.
Ah,
but
can't make
before
an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
no,
Yeah, I guess that would be the logic.
before you to compare the book and the novel some more, Chuck, which I'd like to hear
Yeah.
about these
S-
powers these people have. So this is what I come to realize. In the new movie, they don't spell it out for you. I mean, maybe a
yeah.
sentence here and there. In the Lynch movie, they do spell it out, but they don't. They don't know. The script is not like it gets the poetic lines from Frank Herbert's novels. Once everybody knows, you've got to have those lines in the movie. Fear is the mind killer, et cetera, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. Um, but there's like something beneath it, I think, that's kind of missing. I feel like um, you don't really know. You know she belongs to an order. I'm talking about Jessica. Um, and Charlotte Rampling, different actor in the other one, the dwarf lady, gives them hell. So that scene, those scenes again, so those scenes are exactly the same. Why is she a telepath? As cool as she is that just like a random mutation that some people in that Caladan place have? Well, is it something you
I
said it was like a
don't
cult? Do they
think
bestow the power on you or what?
I don't think she's a telepath. I think maybe it's just a super empath.
She is
Everything
a
you
telepath
see,
because she can read minds.
everything you see with the Benny Gesserit is like a discipline. I mean, the weirding way is a discipline that Jessica teaches Paul.
Because she seems to know certain things, but you're right. Certain things she doesn't know that a telepath would. That also confused me. One minute is represented cinematically as she's reading someone's mind, and then the next minute she doesn't know what's going on. The hand signals, I thought that was a cool idea. The little,
Yeah.
little at the waist, thing between her and the son. Um,
Can
anyway,
I jump in? I think
yeah,
that
no,
I think that like many that was like a matriarchal order, I would call
Yeah.
that.
mm,
And so there were some who had different levels
Yeah.
of powers, depth, understanding. Some could reach deeper into your mind. Some could make you feel pain, if you remember. Some couldn't quite do that. And what she was doing was passing on some of these powers to her son, which I believe was more or less sort of forbidden. He had to pass a test, remember,
Mm.
to overcome his
yeah,
fears.
they were angry at the woman,
Mhm.
the head of the cult. I'm calling
Yeah.
him a cult. Her,
No, I
to a
get
greater
it.
extent, the one who kind of came to check her out, was played by
Mhm,
Charles Rampling in the new one.
mhm.
They were angry as hell. I think she's reminding her that, well, you're having this ritual, and it should have been a woman having this ritual with us.
Right.
Does that
But I
make
think they were able to decide the birth, the sex of the child in
really?
this, but they were also able to do that as well. So I have no insight into them. I think she had the son because wasn't she having an affair or something, or the husband who was playing her husband? I forget the guy's name, but I
Oh,
think he
Jurgen
wanted a
Prochnow.
son.
Jurgen
Right,
Prochnow.
he wanted a son, and so she gave him that son. But by and large, they can decide the sex of the
Oh,
child,
okay, all right.
which is how it
Mhm.
should be anyway.
So it
But
was his
no,
problem, that man,
yeah,
damn
yeah.
man. What a
The
man.
gender reveal party, yes.
Oh, and Dredge Working rules.
Yeah. The no
Oh,
the yeah the Benny Gesserit kind of tried to get their fingers in everything.
So she is a
mhm.
powerful mutant, and she's also, I guess, of another class than the Atreides, and like
Yeah.
she's his mistress, and that's public consort, which
Yeah.
like most of
Concubine is the word they
yeah,
commonly use.
concubine. See, most of the
Okay.
20th century, that's to publicly have that in the West would be scandalous, But they think nothing of it, which is cool. Like, oh, well, that's a woman who had a kid by him, no big deal. And they don't get married, so she doesn't have a title like him. Um, and I think that was maybe an arbitrary decision of Frank Herbert's, or just maybe not. Maybe I'm figuring it out as I go along.
But she wasn't just a just wasn't she wasn't just a side chick. I mean, she was a side chick um with um with status because of
But
who
Yeah.
she
she
got the
was
status
in
because she married him. She
but
slept with him. Sorry.
within that order, she had status, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you're talking about her
Yeah.
order, not the gut,
Not through the
not the
patriarchal. I'm thinking,
kingdom. I'm talking.
right.
I'm thinking of the kingdom itself.
Of course, we would be,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, in the order, she's one of the top ones. But
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she decides to put Paul in through the ritual, even though he's a guy. I just want to make sure I'm getting this
Mhm.
right. See, I'm confused too.
Yes. Mhm.
I'm confused too.
Yes. That's okay.
Um,
It's
Yeah.
it's confusing.
just
I get just what you see in the story.
okay, just which is just her reaction to Paul going through this journey,
Hmm.
and she
Going through the
helps him
journey,
enter.
but I also feel it's like a more not fact finding, but just gathering information and seeing, I'm going to hold this information. Is this going to be useful? I'm going to make note of it. And maybe that was the look of I'm
So she's
making
a
note of
thinker, is
this.
what you're saying, deep thinker. Everything
Mhm.
going on around her. She's recording
Yeah.
everything around her.
Yeah,
Processing.
she's
That's cool. Okay, so Chuck, do you like the book better, the movie better? What are your estimations if you compare them all? What comes
Well,
out
I
top?
would love it if somebody made the book, made the movie, just made a movie just like the book, and nobody's done that, and probably nobody can do it because the book has been considered for years unfilmable. I don't know about that. I think Villeneuve came pretty damn close, but I don't care. I liked Lynch's Dune just fine. I liked the Villeneuve movies
Yeah,
just
I do
fine.
too.
I was and and much like Bill, I kind of fell off after the second book, but I kind of have an idea of what Frank Herbert was going for with that whole story, and kind of appreciative of it. But just for that one big epic alone, well worth capturing on film. And just Lynch with his idiosyncrasies and everything else is fantastic to look at. The just horrific design for the Harkonnens.
In Lynch's movie, it seems like they wanted it to evoke more of a I'm talking about the studio, wanted to evoke more of an action, sci-fi, fantasy, Star Wars kind of vibe to it. Because once they
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
shooting somebody with once they shoot him with a laser gun toward the end, I'm like, okay, what's that all about? Why are they shooting laser guns all of a sudden? They never said they had them. I guess you just assume they have them. Why didn't they use them earlier? So it's like the producer said, you got to use a laser gun. It's gonna be cool. They run into that corridor, add a laser gun. It'll
Well,
look
with
like
that, you're
Battlestar Galactica.
talking. With that, where you're talking with a producer, you're talking Dino De Laurentiis.
And then there was the movie called Star Crash. If Corman had to get in on it, Battle Beyond the Stars, Star Crash. But Galaxina, I actually have quite a fondness for. But it's all the same thing. My point being is of that era, I think they wanted it to look of that era. Like this is the era we're going to show science fiction, how it's going to be shown, and it
Mhm.
probably isn't really compatible completely with how the book is supposed to go. And I
Hmm.
guess that angered some people. I don't get the impression Lynch cared. Do you think he was a fan of the book?
Now,
Oh,
I
I think
feel
he loved
like
the book.
He what?
I think he loved the book.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
when they sent it to him, when De Laurentiis sent it to him telling him Ridley Scott dropped out, would you be interested in this? And he had not read the book, and he did, and he's like, yeah, I'm on board. Which I think most normal people would have read that book and said, yeah, this isn't filmable. But
Yeah.
I think these types of movies are going to just continue to be remade. These are just new franchises that they'll just keep milking, like Godzilla and King Kong that were around when stop motion animation like first came out, and then they just keep remaking them, and for every new generation who feels, oh, this is something new because they haven't seen it. So
Yeah.
there's a cash crop, and they can just continue making these
Yeah.
movies. Do you know what
And
I
the
mean, right,
core
Elijah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the core reasoning
James
for that is
Bond.
because Star Wars, as big as it is, it doesn't look like it's gonna stop anytime soon.
Hmm.
I could honestly see more Dune stuff in the future. Um, but then you brought up Godzilla. They're just too big, like massive IPs for them to just like stop. They're
Yeah.
massive, massive IPs.
Yeah, Godzilla though didn't become a profitable IP in America for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, considering
Maybe
it didn't
the
start here,
2000s.
we just took it over, but sure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah.
And like Baby Godzilla, I want to see that. I want Mothra. I want all of them. I want Rodan. I want the
Oh, I've
whole
got the
crew.
box set of the Blu-rays. It's incredible. The entire
Yeah.
Showa era. It's got everything. So there was an
Mhm.
original era of Godzilla, and then there was another era that started in the late '90s. So different studio.
Right.
they
Um,
got one that started. Well, they've got a whole other one that started in the mid '80s and went until the mid '90s, and that one
so that's the
is
second.
extraordinary.
Okay, I'm thinking of that one. So you're saying after the stuff after that was kind of leaning towards what we have now, like the
Kind of,
2000s up.
yeah.
Okay, I thought the one you're talking about was it. There were just two incarnations, but there's three.
There are three before it ever comes over. Well,
And they did the same thing with
they
Gamma.
really start when they did the 1998 American movie that was considered such a disaster. That
Oh
was
yeah,
that precipitated a third one in Japan, a third run of movies that was
oh.
much shorter, but I think that would be considered kind of a. I enjoyed them, but I'm a stan.
I haven't seen all of the second era. I mean, I know everyone raves about it. I did see when they did Gamera. I know it's a different studio, but obviously it's
The
wonderful.
Gamera ones, the Gamera Heisei series,
wonderful series.
Yeah, that
incredible.
trilogy is just, oh my god,
Mm.
it's incredible. I mean, and yeah, no, Dameron does not look silly anymore. He never did really, to me. But yeah,
Oh well, I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, it's a silly idea, but at the
When
same
he
time,
was
it's a clever
spinning,
idea.
when he was doing the acrobatics on the parallel bars.
Yeah.
Okay, his absurdity is more elegant and then the
Yeah.
later ones.
They were for kids. They were meant to be for kids.
Yeah.
Turtle Man. Okay, thank you for joining us for this installment in our David Lynch Symposium series. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoy it. And if you would hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell.
So we know who you are, where you're coming from, and why you're here. So join us.
It's important.
That's right, Skeezix.
And it's true that we cannot see that far behind. If we looked all the way in the past, we'd go blind. In the night, from the stars as they've all lived their lives, and the light that they gave as they burned and then died.